I've got a new breakdown today. This is a teaser, if you will, a preview for a full course I did for Sonic Academy about how to make 90s house music, specifically how to recreate the song It Goes Like Nanana by Peggy Gou, the summer smash of 2023. This is a very classic sounding house track. It's got so many elements of 90s house music, and it just oozes with nostalgia and with personality. And Peggy Gou did such an amazing job picking sounds and writing parts and putting together a song that really captures a bit of nostalgia, but also has this really nice modern flavor to it as well. So let's do a quick breakdown of the track recreation that I put together. And then if you want to check out more, be sure to go over to sonicacademy.com where you can check out the full course, download all the assets, and let's get going with this breakdown. So let's break this track down quickly. If you want more details on any of the sounds, the drums, the arrangement of everything, be sure to check out the full course over at sonicacademy.com. But let's play through from top to bottom. I think I did a pretty decent job mimicking this song as best as I could and getting the sounds as close as I can. But let's start from the top here where we've got the drums and the bass coming in right from the get-go. This is a custom drum rack we build in the course using samples I've provided. Most of these are 909 samples from my own collection that I've processed a little bit, not too heavily. The overall track isn't very heavily processed. Sounds are relatively dry. But yeah, I've rendered samples out. They're all provided in the full course, the download files there, as well as this drum rack preset if you want to save it for yourself. We've got these fill drums here, including a snare roll, crash cymbal, and some claps that come in later. We've got the vocal here. This is extracted from lalal.ai, so it's a little janky, but it's in there for reference. Here's the bass. We've synthesized an original bass sound in ANA 2, and we'll go over all the details of that in the full course, of course. All of the sounds are coming from ANA 2, barring one vocal effect sound, which we edit together and process a little bit. We've got these organs that play pretty prominently. I'm going to stop the playback for a moment. I just want to go through some of these different organ parts because you have this organ that does a lot in the track. There are sections where it's playing a nice melody, like in the intro here. Again, synthesized in ANA 2. We'll go over the preset in the full course. We got a few different variations on that melody. All of the MIDI variations are going to come included with the course. Let's see how that sounds in context. Very cool. Classic M1 style, Korg M1 style organ sound. That organ also comes in here during this big break in the middle of the song. It's got a totally new chord progression. It's the same organ patch. We just copied it onto 2 tracks because there's a section near the end of the song where the organ is playing both chords and a melody. I just wanted to separate those out into 2 separate tracks so we could differentiate between the parts. Those organs. We're going to skip the pad for a minute. Let's jump down to the piano. So this again is another classic 90s house Korg M1 style sound. While we didn't necessarily have access to a Korg M1, although there is a really great Korg M1 plugin, runs for about $50 US, I believe, if you're interested in that. We recreated it in ANA 2 using the multi-sampler. So again, I'll go over that in the full course and how we constructed this preset. Let's solo the piano real quick. Such a key component of the song, such a great sound. Let's check the chord progression in the intro here. And again, the MIDI files will be included in the full course, so you can kind of take a look at these and mimic them, look at the chords and the key that we're in and everything. We also have the pad. Let's jump back to the pad here. We got this really nice pad that comes in and adds just this subtle texture in the intro here. So, you know, the track starts out strong with the drums and the bass, and then we get the organ melody coming in. That organ melody continues, and then we've got these really nice pads. background, subtle, adding atmosphere. That's an original sound, synthesized that in ANA 2 as well. All the ANA 2 presets will be included in the full course. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I will break down how I made all the sounds. So if you don't have ANA 2, you can kind of follow along and recreate those sounds in your own favorite synth of choice. Then we have this guitar sound. This is, again, another very classic 90s progressive house trance sort of a sound. This was made famous by ATB in his classic, I think it was 1998 track, 9 p.m. Till I Come. That pitch bendy guitar sound. Peggy Gou has gone on the record saying that that was a heavy influence for the guitar lead in this track. Let's jump ahead here to section at the end of the first chorus, where we get that full melody of the guitar. We've also created this in ANA 2. We're using the multi-sampler for this to get that sampled guitar sound. I'll go over how I created the pitch bend as well. Such an iconic part of that sound. And then lastly, well, not lastly, we have two more synth sounds, don't we? The synth lead and the string. Let's just listen through this break. We've got this lead synth. This is an original sound that we recreated in ANA 2. Such an iconic part of this song, such a catchy melody. It accompanies the vocals, just infectious. So here we're using ANA 2 again. I'm using a combination of FM synthesis and wavetable synthesis, layering two different parts of the sound, two different components together to create that lead. Back here we got our pad, our piano, and our guitar all playing together. Guitar drops out, break chords from the organ come in. One thing that I mentioned in the full course probably several times is Peggy Gou's so great at having this interesting interplay between sounds. Like, all of these sounds, as I mentioned, are fairly simple, not very heavily processed. They're somewhat repetitive, but she adds just these small variations. And I mean, you can see here this organ lead, there are like 4 different variations of the part. These subtle variations that just keep the sounds really interesting in the track. And then, as you can see in the arrangement here, she does a really great job choosing different combinations of the parts to play together. So it's, you know, you never get like one section where everything's just playing on top of each other and it feels really messy. There's always things coming and going, and it kind of keeps you guessing, but it also just keeps you really entangled in the groove. I mean, the drums, as you can hear in the bass line, they don't really change very much at all in the whole track, but you're just kind of stuck in that groove, and then you hear all these beautiful synth parts coming in and out, like weaving in and out of the arrangement and just keeping you interested, keeping your ears glued to the song, if you will. The last synth sound I'll mention here is we have this string that adds some tension in this final chorus. Let me maybe play back here from break 2, and we'll hear that come in. Again, a subtle sound, kind of like the pad. That's just adding some tension, adding a little lift in the energy in this final chorus before we get to the outro. Again, we made this one in ANA 2, using the multi-sampler oscillator for this sound as well. And then we've also got this vocal effect. I'll get more into this in the full course, but this was just a snippet of the vocals that I took and I looped, and then I've got a few different things here. We're processing it, we're doing some automation to it to keep it interesting as it builds tension in this break leading into the final chorus drop section. So we'll, you know, obviously break down the full arrangement, the various MIDI parts, the interplay between those parts, how to create each of the sounds. We'll also run everything through a final master chain, get it nice and loud as you hear it right now. So this is the final mastered version that we're listening to right now. So yeah, head on over to sonicacademy.com. You can download the full project file, all of the MIDI parts, all the ANA 2 presets, all the samples are included there. This track was a lot of fun to break down. I hope you all enjoy it and you learned something from analyzing the project file. Take care, everyone.
It's on my mind, I guess it goes like